Welcome to another episode of the CPG Guys podcast. Our co-hosts, Sri Rajagopalan and Peter V.S. Bond, explore how brands and retailers engage with consumers online, in-store, and everywhere in between. And now, here are Sri and Peter.
Hello, folks, and welcome to this episode of the CPG Guys podcast. I'm, of course, Sri, one of your aforementioned CPG guys. My co-host is PVSP, also the VP of Partner Strategy and Dev at Fetch Rewards, a mobile loyalty platform. Join me in welcoming the other CPG guy, the man with the velvet voice and the radio dash. Mr. Bond. Shop Talk is actually just merely weeks away. Are you ready, Peter?
Sri, I'm excited to get out to Las Vegas. I've been watching all these, we've been planning on going to different events. I was going to go to CES and then that fell through. I was going to go to FMI and that fell through. I did manage to sneak into NRF, but it was pretty dead in New York City. There wasn't anybody there. So I'm really hoping Shop Talk is going to be a big event. I'm looking forward to interacting with people. It's been a while.
And Peter, I'm going to go no man and woman has gone before, and we're going to talk baseball because you brought it up before this and I can't resist it. It is so unfair that Roger Clemens doesn't get to go to the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds still can't do it, and Mart Teixeira gets single-digit votes and is never eligible for the HOF. Alex Rodriguez, 36%. Utter rubbish, man. Rubbish.
Well, that's why they have the old timers committee that in another 20 years maybe they can make it in. But
riders, what is that? Riders get to elect the Hall of Fame? What?
Yeah, we were all happy when Canseco and Sosa were doing the home run derbies in the late 90s after the 95 strike. But the steroid era has come back to haunt a lot of these would-be. You look at their numbers, and by any stretch of the imagination, they should be in the Hall. But it is what it is, Sri. I'd put you in the Hall. You're in my Hall of Fame, Sri.
Yo, you've always been in my Hall of Fame for 25 years, man. But you know what it reminds me of? Actually, what we're going to get into a little bit on this episode and try to solve for, which is, if I go back 10 years in history, I would actually in the industry hear words that would tell me, hey, can you help us postpone digital and e-com because I don't want to deal with it now? And we're going to get into a lot of that today and understand how much the world has transformed in this journey in CPG. And I can't figure out why both of you are wearing a unique shirt with a brand on it, but let's solve the mystery. So thank you, Peter, first of all. But before we get to our guests, let me remind our audience that all of our content can easily be found by visiting cpgguys.com in a browser. If you aren't already following us on LinkedIn, please try and join this family that's responsible now and participating in the transformation of the industry to deliver quality products at value for the consumer. All you got to do, browser, linkedin.com, search box, type CPG Guys, and you get to a blue plus follow button. All you got to do is click it. That way you'll get to see all of the content we produce. The best thing about it, I know Peter is showing me the numbers right here on video. It says 0, all free. Did you know that we are in partnership with the organization formerly known as NEW, the Network of Executive Women, and in the middle of every Wednesday, a podcast episode is hidden an Easter egg with a message from the organization now known as Next Up. Download, tune in, and listen. Check out newonline.org/CPGguys with a key message on joining the network. One more thing, folks. Go back 2 weeks. It was Sarah Alters, CEO of Next Up, who joined us for that exciting announcement. Do remember, if you'd like to be on the show and represent your brand or perhaps share your company's vision, drop an email to contact@cpgguys.com. That's contact@cpgguys.com. Peter and I, of course, honored that our podcast attracts so many industry luminaries and leaders from notable Fortune 500 companies, brands, retailers, etc. Today, we are especially pleased to have one such guest. Kara is a senior marketing executive with over 20 plus years at leading media and entertainment companies, including the Walt Disney Company and Warner Media, two of my favorites. She joined Walmart Media Group in 2019 after 13 plus years as a SVP at Disney Ad Sales and Portfolio Marketing and Client Solutions. Prior to Disney, Kara spent 8 years at Warner Media, working with Fortune 100 companies across the broad Warner Media portfolio. And now, drum roll please, Peter, joining us is the VP of Marketing for none other than Fortune 1, Walmart Connect. Kara, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you, Sri and Peter. Hello, and thank you for having me. You are both in my Hall of Fame as well.
Haha, with one single vote, Peter, we got elected. That's the way it should be.
Yes. No, I've been really looking forward to this. So I'm thrilled to be here and can't wait for the conversation today.
Kara, before we get to the questions and the conversational piece of this podcast, would you please first tell our audience where our audience can learn more about Walmart Connect? And then a brief overview of your role at Walmart Connect.
Folks can learn about Walmart Connect on our website, walmartconnect.com. And there you're going to find everything from an overview of our offerings to the latest kind of insights around omnichannel advertising and around our customers. So feel free to go there. And I'd also love to invite our listeners to follow us on LinkedIn. So just follow Walmart Connect on LinkedIn. We're constantly pushing updates and insights. And we'd love to have you follow us there. I head up the marketing. I'm the VP of Marketing at Walmart Connect. And I have 3 areas of focus there. The first is establishing the Walmart Connect brand and communicating our value to all of our core audiences. The second is really driving insight-driven strategies and solutions for our clients across all categories. And we're going to dive into this a little bit later, but our One Walmart Omni Solutions, we believe, is a real differentiator and a critical area of growth for us in this space. And then third is delivering best-in-class training and sales enablement. And we do this not only for our own fast-growing team at Walmart Connect, but also, very importantly, our external partners. So whether that is our self-serve clients, our third-party sellers, our API partners and agencies. So those are really my 3 key areas of focus.
I don't know about you, Peter, but to me, that sounds like a fun job. The head of marketing for Walmart Connect at Fortune 1. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for that, Kara. We'll, of course, include hyperlinks to the site you mentioned and so much more in the episode digital liner notes. So let's jump in. Let's get going. I'll kick it off. Turner Broadcasting, Warner Media, Walt Disney. Again, these are just like fun, exciting places to be at. Content production, warehouses, if I may say so. And now Walmart Connect. Take us through the journey of how it started there and now you're at Walmart Connect. How did this happen?
Sure, I'd be happy to. It's funny. So hearing you say that, it's like hearing my professional life in like a flash, right? So many years in such a short period of time right there. But I'd love to share a little bit of my journey with you. And you're right. I have been really fortunate to work with some leading companies and fun companies throughout my career. So, what I will say is, after Turner and Warner and Disney, of course, I was attracted to this opportunity to really be part of the Fortune 1 company, as you said, right? What better next step to take in my career? But I was also just really excited at the opportunity to be part of the leadership team, helping to create and execute on this vision of building an advertising business within the Fortune 1 company, how we would connect brands directly with Walmart customers and to do that in more meaningful ways. So, how are we going to drive sales, but also enhance the customer experience? So that's kind of the short journey. But if I go back, and address the how, like how did I actually get here? What I'd say is my career actually started in media planning in Boston at Hill Holiday. And then I eventually moved to account service work in New York. So the agency that was once called Lowen Partners, there's, everything has evolved and changed. I was on the Mercedes business there. But I really just loved this space of, learning about brands and learning about customers and then bringing campaigns to life. I made the move to Turner Broadcasting in the 90s. So this was really my first marketing role in an ad sales organization and in my first time going to the publisher side, right? And it was there that I really had exposure to deeper customer insights. The team that I worked for actually was led by a woman who had come from the agency space in strategic planning. So she was deeply invested in utilizing customer insights to drive strategies and drive ideas. And that really appealed to me. And this was really the early days of integrated marketing, certainly on the kind of media publisher side of the business. And through this process, I discovered this like fascinating intersection of customer insights, media, and brands. And for me, it was like putting a puzzle together, right? And I just loved it because it was strategic, it was creative, it's kind of constantly evolving. And I found it to be very rewarding, right? Very rewarding when you're able to drive results for the brands as well as for the end customer. So that, I think that was the beginning of kind of my love affair with this kind of insight-driven marketing strategy space. And then from there, I'm sure you two may remember the merger of AOL and Time Warner. So believe it or not, that was 22 years ago. That was actually in January of 2000, and I was there during that transition. And what was fascinating about that is, our portfolio just expanded immensely. So not only did we have the Turner Broadcasting TV and digital, but now we had all the Time Inc. magazine titles. So you had print and the digital components of that because that was growing. Now all of AOL. Right. And what that represented, as well as Warner Music and Warner Studios. So it was this incredible playground of brands and content, and then working with top clients. And I think for me, that consultative approach with clients and building solutions with them, right? That partnership of that when you do it together, where you're taking the insight that a brand marketer has about their own customer and their brand, and then you bring to the table your priorities and your knowledge about your readers or users or listeners, and you bring it together, the magic can really happen. So that was AOL Time Warner, and then it brought me to Disney. And Disney was just an incredible opportunity to work for a beloved brand. I love their brand. I love their franchises, their content. And it was the opportunity to not only build an integrated marketing team, like the team itself, but then to also build an entire discipline around integrated marketing, because we had 4 different divisions. There was a print, a radio, a TV, a digital, and they were all siloed. And I was brought in to help bring those together and lead a marketing team that could really train everybody in how to think more holistically and media agnostically in order to build these really strategic solutions. And of course, that was just a lot of fun. It became much more consultative. And it was, again, over 14 years, the amount of change that happened in our industry. And then, of course, at Disney, right? New TV networks, streaming services. We were working with the theatrical group, the, corporate alliance group, the consumer products group. So, just really fun and educational for me, as well as I really grew up as an executive there. And that brought me to Walmart. I mean, I think, the lightning rod for me, because I still to this day love Disney, as a brand and from a content perspective. But I'll tell you what I noticed is I saw the industry moving and shifting right under my nose. Digital and data were becoming critical, absolutely critical to our marketers and our agencies. They wanted better targeting. They wanted more accountability, more ROI, right? They wanted a more direct relationship and connection to their customers. And that comes down to owning the data and knowing your customer. And so when I had the conversation with folks at Walmart at that time, I just saw enormous potential, right? I saw the potential because, this was, again, September of 19. So we had just insourced the business from Triad. We were really in our infancy. At that time, we were called, Walmart Media Group. And you were really focused on our core platform, our core digital platform. But I saw this opportunity for, America's largest retailer and the huge data troves that we had to actually think about how do we use that? How do we use that to help make our partners smarter? And I like the brand. The Walmart brand, it values, it's customer first. And this is a company that has humanity and integrity, and they want to do good. They want to do good for our communities and customers. So that's the long why, how I got here.
Kara Russo, welcome to the CPG Guys podcast. Shri and I were so happy to meet you last fall at Advertising Week in New York City, and we're glad that you accepted our invitation to join us on the podcast. You mentioned AOL Time Warner. I still have some of those CD-ROMs. I use them to balance out a table on an uneven floor. They're very helpful. My daughter keeps trying to grab them from under the table, but there they are. And I'll also say, Shri and I have a little envy because Walmart Connect has 19,000 followers on LinkedIn. We just crossed 10,000, but then again, we're both kind of jealous of parent Walmart, which has 3.8 million. So I think we got a little room to grow there, right? So I would love to now talk in general, take it up a level, and talk about retail media, both on and off site. What is it for you in your mind that really makes retail media just about the hottest platform in advertising today?
It surprises me that even in the 2.5 years that I've been at Walmart, how much this space has grown. And it just keeps getting hotter, right? I think I read recently in eMarketer, they said that retail media is like the third big wave of digital, right? And it feels like every month or two, there's another retail media outlet that is launching. So why is it so hot? I believe it ties back to kind of what I was talking about earlier. I think marketers want and need to connect more directly to their customers. I think it's that simple, right? I think they need to know their customers better. In order to know their customers better, they have to have first party data. They need to understand what are they shopping for? How are they shopping for it? They want to be part of the solution, right? To make it easier for their customers. And they want to have a more meaningful connection with them because customers have so many choices and they're being bombarded. And it's not a direct line anymore to purchase, right? Like this discovery can happen on a social platform and immediately you're buying something you didn't even know you needed or wanted. So the more you know about your customer, the more you're able to actually target them, be more relevant to them. And then, of course, with retail media, we have the ability to be accountable, right? Because we understand if that exposure to the ad led to a purchase online or in store. And that's invaluable.
That is invaluable. The desire to get closer to the customer, the shopper, is invaluable. Clearly, that's the mission. Can you tell us how Walmart Connect is helping enable this for brands? Like, how is this happening every day?
It is absolutely the mission, right? That's exactly what we set out to do, is to really help connect brands to customers in more meaningful ways, right? In order to fuel sales and to fuel brand growth. And, we're kind of sitting on this gold mine of first party retail powered data. We're reaching 90% of US households every year. 150 million customers buy from us every week. So, that data is huge, but as you know, it's really the art of how you now apply that data. Data for data's sake is not valuable. It's what do you do with it, right? And so, the way we're looking at it is how do you use that data at scale in combination with that closed loop attribution, and then, bring custom omni solutions into the mix, right? Our reach for customers, whether that is on our platforms across digital or off our platform digitally, right? Social, in store. So we see that it's so much more than performance media. It's become a full funnel solution that's connecting the brand activations with the performance activations. And so, how are we doing this? We're moving faster than ever. We are growing at the speed of light. We're a rocket ship, and we're just like super focused on how do we enhance the offering and our reach from an advertising platform perspective to make it easier for customers, for our clients of all sizes, whether that's an enterprise account, a mid-market account, or, an emerging 3P client, right? We want to make sure that everybody has access to our tools and that we will meet their needs. So, it's about creating that shared value, right? Share value for the suppliers, the sellers, and for Walmart. And hopefully if you do it right, for the customer.
Only 90% reach? That's all you've got? Come on, Kara, you can do better than that.
It still blows me away, Peter. I'm not going to lie. Like when I recite this scale, but here's what I love about that is, when you think about 90% reach in America, the reality is we reflect America, like the diversity of Americans. And to me, that is a huge and unique value proposition, right? So when we think about Walmart Connect and our unique value proposition, it really falls into kind of 4 key buckets, I would say. One is that scale and reach, right? And as I said, it's that kind of reflecting the diversity of America, but it's the data and measurement, which we've been talking a lot about. And I'll tell you, we're really investing a lot in that space, right? Because we know that that's going to allow our suppliers to drive incrementality in store and ROAS online, right? So we want to make sure that the measurement and optimization opportunities are superior. And then the third would be the omni connections and impact. So a big part of what I can certainly speak to is we are expanding the touch points, right? So in store last year, we announced that we'd be selling our TV wall and our self-checkout screens. Walmart, given the footprint with about 4,800 stores, we actually are like I think it was the 3rd largest out-of-home advertiser because of that reach. Now add on to that the opportunity to utilize things like events that are happening in our communities at Walmarts around the U.S. True interaction, as well as sampling opportunities, right? So we're really trying to enhance those omni touch points. And then lastly is something that I think is a complete game changer, and that's our One Walmart approach. Because what we're hearing from some of our biggest advertising partners is we want to be able to advertise smarter with you. We want the data, we want the targeting, but what we really want is we want enterprise planning. We want all of Walmart to come together and actually help plan together on those big priorities and big bets. And so that's what we've begun to institute is a One Walmart approach and methodology that allows for us to proactively plan, right? Sit with our key clients and understand what their big bets are, talk with our merchants about their priorities and start to actually map that. Again, it takes me back to the puzzle, right? I love being able to figure this out because no one program should look the same. We have to customize and work with our partners in order to create something that's going to meet their needs and exceed their KPIs. And so we're really setting this bar on delivering value and creativity and insights to help our suppliers grow their business. And we know that when we do it right, it's a win-win-win.
You know what I heard, Peter? The buzzwords, KPIs, customize, and puzzle, they all come together nicely. But a reminder for our audience that we're speaking with Kara Rousseau, Vice President of Marketing at Walmart Connect from, of course, Fortune 1 Walmart. So Kara, you just mentioned how KPIs, customizations all come together to get this puzzle going, this jigsaw puzzle that we call retail media. And the bottom line is get closer to your customer at the end of the day. Now let's get into a little bit of the technicalities of retail media. I'd love to learn what are the various ad capabilities that Walmart Connect offers?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Sri. I'd love to talk about the capabilities. When we think about Walmart Connect capabilities, we really look at it from the perspective of how do we need to actually reach the customer at different points along the customer journey, right? So everything from driving inspiration to engagement, and that's both online and in store. So we're really focused on 3 key strategic areas. One is about being able to grow our offerings across our digital properties. We know that the pandemic has accelerated digital shopping. More customers, are searching and discovering and shopping online. So, our core offerings are search and display, right? And we really love the combination of those. Obviously, with search, we're able to really drive conversion. With display, we're able to do both, right? It's both kind of that awareness, but also driving to conversion. And let's not forget that it's closed loop advertising. And a lot of folks that aren't familiar with retail media may not really understand what we mean by that. And so I like to be really clear about it. What that means is if you are seeing an ad, and it has been targeted to you based on precision data, based on past purchases, that we can then trace that back to understand if you purchased that item online or in store. And to us at Walmart, that in-store piece is huge because remember, over 80% of purchases are still happening in store. So it's digital media that can have an impact digitally or in store. So search and display, core capability. We're also focused on expanding our offsite media, right? And this is a huge area of growth. Again, as we talk about reaching that customer everywhere they are. So it's using Walmart data. So it's the Walmart customer, but then being able to reach them on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest. And we've had relationships in place with those partners. And then beyond that, what we just announced last year is a deal with kind of the leading ad tech company, The Trade Desk. And this is incredibly exciting for us because, with that, it's really the first of its kind demand side platform for suppliers, for media and the ad agencies. We've called it it's called the Walmart DSP, and that's going to allow folks, to be able to reach that customer, whether it's through display, through video, CTV, right? So that's a real game changer for us, and something we're very excited about. And then finally, we're launching, omni capabilities. Those omni capabilities, I just touched on a lot of it, the TV wall, self-checkout, and now expanding into events and sampling. That's just going to continue to grow because I think, again, knowing that we can't have the opportunity to have in real life interaction with our customers is a huge differentiator, and we can make a difference for our suppliers and our customers.
Thank you for that detail, Kara. That's very helpful. Our audience loves when we break down components and they understand what all the options are. I think if you ask 100 brand managers, 99 of them will tell you that the lifeblood of growth is innovation. So if I'm a brand manager and I'm launching a new product and it's going in to Walmart, walk us through from a Walmart Connect perspective, what are the tactics that you would recommend that are going to help them successfully launch their product with you?
I love this question. You're 100% right. It's all innovation is where it's at. And realistically, we have to be innovating consistently, right? And I think Walmart proper is constantly innovating, right? Whether it's with drone delivery, or more, delivery in house. And we at Walmart Connect have to consistently think about how do we innovate? So that's the good news. On the other side, though, you asked me for what would the tactic be that I'd recommend? And I guess I'd say there's no one size fits all, right? That brings me back to my media planning days. So I think it depends, right? It depends on what category you're in, what your brand is, who your customer is. And that's the fun of it, right? Is figuring out how we can work together as consultative partners to really think about that Walmart approach. Like, what are the levers we want to pull? And at what point in the process, depending on what you're trying to achieve. But maybe what I can do is just share a few different examples on how we chose different tactics to meet different objectives. Very high level. Here, from an apparel perspective, back in, 2020, Champion, for example, was preparing a launch of their full apparel assortment on Walmart.com. And, they looked to Walmart Connect to help build a program for them that was going to drive that awareness, but also drive conversion. So to make that launch a success, it was very digitally focused. And we focused on a program that would catch the shopper's eye, during different points of their shopper journey. So fashion forward display ads, and then very heavy on search strategies as well. So this mix of kind of offsite and onsite ads, which was really powered by that strategic targeting, ensured that, it would drive that brand awareness. At the same time, the search really drove that conversion. This 360 approach really helped to make the launch a success. So that's on one side. And I would say, again, very digitally focused. On the other side, I'll use the example of Doritos Roulette. So I don't know if you remember last year, really fun product, really fun campaign, right? You don't know what chip you're going to get. Are you going to get the spicy one? That was so much fun to actually plan and prepare alongside with the merchant team, the site team, the WMC team and the client, right? That was a one Walmart approach from start to finish. And what was interesting about that is it had everything from pre-launch to launch to sustain. And from a pre-launch perspective, we really looked at how do you use kind of social and influencers and affiliates to start to drive the awareness and the buzz. And then as we launched, really transition that into kind of on-platform presence and email. So, if you'll remember, we had everything from this very buzzworthy TikTok challenge, right? About kind of playing off the fact that you don't know what you're going to get. We were all over Twitter and Facebook and TikTok during that kind of pre-launch period. And then we really went to, as I said, the digital media, both on and off platform. Emails, really focused, targeted media. And we're able to sustain by just having that presence across all. So huge launch, really won Walmart and its approach. And, we were left with a very kind of, a happy client. We were happy about it. And frankly, I think it was really fun for the consumer.
I mean, clearly this is humming and hawing. Those are from my Texas days, those words. And y'all are delivering for brands as well as for consumers at the end of the day. But if I'm a brand and I've chosen to partner with Walmart Connect, which so many brands do, right? And during a campaign and after the campaign, what can I expect back from Walmart Connect? Data, what types of data, what type of insights, how fast, what metrics do brands and Walmart Connect hold each other accountable to?
Sri, you're getting right to the heart of it. I mean, that is,
yes, ma'am.
That's a $20,000 question, right? I mean, it all comes down to, well, did it work? And how do I know it worked? Listen, I think the reality is we know that this is table stakes for us, right? Data and measurement. So, and part of that's because the role of the CMO is changing, right? The CMO is being held accountable to drive business results. It's not just about driving brand awareness. Like, what are the business results you're driving? And that comes down to, ensuring that there is visibility and transparency and control over optimization of campaigns. So, what I'll tell you is what our clients can expect from us is that transparency and that control. That's what we've been working really hard at over the last few years. So, you may remember about a year and a half ago, we launched, our performance dashboards. And this was kind of a full omni-channel closed loop view of both our display and sponsored product campaigns with real-time access to the dashboards. And it was to provide these types of insights, right? So the idea, and this is available on our Walmart Ad Center, was that it's a single sign-on, self-serve platform. And that is where you're going to manage and measure your campaigns all in one place. So being able to offer that transparency and just real-time optimization, right, that's required and needed.
I have to say, Kara, this has been a very illuminating conversation. You get that, Shri? That's a tip of the hat to our friends, Mark and Dan, over at Walmart Data Ventures and the whole team there. But my last question, I know, aren't I shameless? I got to throw that in. So you talked about brands innovating. I'd love to hear specifically around Walmart Connect, because you've alluded to it. Where are the innovative solutions that you're thinking about building that are going to deliver on the needs of advertisers, be they the biggest of big CPGs to that startup that's making a single product and they just got the great news that they're going to be carried by Walmart.
That is where we're focused day in and day out, which is, right, how do we innovate for our clients and our suppliers? So, look, we're focused on making it easy and accessible for our suppliers and sellers of all sizes, and really enhancing the ways in which they can target, right? So a few things from an innovation perspective. We talked about the Walmart DSP, which again, I think is a huge innovation as it relates to being able to just expand the reach. I think, we have this full suite of self-serve, automated tools. We just recently launched our what we call the DSS, or display self-serve. Again, really big initiative for us, puts the control in the hands of our clients to be able to do their own, their own display campaigns. And that was kind of coming out. If you remember, about a year ago, we talked about, bringing on the technology and the team at Thunder. So we were able to bring that together and really launch this incredible, new platform, to give control. And then I would just say, look, enhancing our targeting capabilities. So how do we give more tools? And we're doing everything from brand affinity targeting. Interestingly, what we found with brand affinity targeting is we saw 150% increase, in ROAS, and an 180% improvement in conversion compared to kind of standard rule-based segments. So sometimes just being able to understand, again, it's the application of the data. Once you have that data and you know who your customer is, how do you then give your clients the opportunity to target in smarter ways? And that's an example of how that opportunity, that innovation can significantly change the outcome. We're also looking at 2 new persona-based targeting products, so lifestyle and life stage. And then, I'd be remiss if I didn't say again, the One Walmart solutions. To me, this is a huge area for our biggest suppliers. We've got a really exciting program that just launched around Super Bowl. I know you guys are baseball fans. Are you football fans? Yes, I'm seeing some head nods.
I am looking forward to Mahomes at Los Angeles Rams at Sophie Stadium, locally here where I live.
We are very sad New York Giants fans. That is our lot in life. So yes, we like football. We just don't get a lot of good football.
Now, do you tailgate? Do you like to have a good game time party?
Ma'am, Cowboys at Giants, Giants at Cowboys, twice a year, never miss, tailgate all day long, starts at 8 a.m. in the morning, ends whenever.
Well, okay, so you're going to love this Omnichannel program, this One Walmart program that we just put together. And again, I'm really proud of it because it's fun, it delivers for the customer, it delivers for Walmart, but basically it's a campaign called Get the W, which establishes Walmart as the destination for all of your game time needs. We integrated core partners. So we've got everyone from PepsiCo with their snack brands and beverage brands to P&G to help get everyone game time ready for the party, to Campbell's and Samsung, because of course you've got to have the big screen TV for the best tailgating experience. And Mars, because look, you need to have chocolate. Who doesn't need Snickers at a game time party? I'm more about the tailgate than I am the game itself. So this is close to my heart. But when we think about the solution, look, we really worked closely with all of these partners and with our Walmart marketing team and our site ops team and our merchant team to really understand how those big bets came together and then plan a program. So, we created the campaign, Get the W. We have a Get the W challenge on TikTok. We've got major NFL talent like Deion Sanders. We've got a Twitter streaming. We have 40 influencers that are going to be doing the challenge, really driving that awareness, that engagement. And of course, our media to amplify it, to drive awareness and conversion. We've got, a Get the W shop online. And if you go to your Walmart right now, there's a ton of signage in store too. So just a really fun program. And I would say, for us, this new approach of one Walmart, and working in partnership, really deep partnership with our suppliers is an innovation and one that we think is going to pay off.
Wow, what an episode. We started with personas, hyper-targeting, customization, puzzle. Then we went into, I'm going to sing for Kara, money, 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 money. Then we went into tailgating. We said the big W word that we love here on the CPG guys. Then we talked chocolate, if I got that right. How about that, Peter? Snacks, beverages.
Hey, let's not forget personas. I heard some behavior-based segmentation. That's my bailiwick.
Behavior-based segmentation is in Peter's pocket. He whips it out all the time. What a power-packed episode. My gosh, I'm going to say, folks, y'all go back all the way and listen to this one and play it again, right from scratch. It's not every day that you get all of this in one episode. So what do you think, Peter?
I'm blown away. I'm already getting ready to replay it, Sri. I'm going to probably listen to it several times as we're putting together the final copy. But this was right. It gave you retail media. It gave me segmentation, behavior-based targeting. I mean, what more could we have?
And it gave me chocolate.
Chocolate. Yeah, you got chocolate. It was a Jersey Fresh episode. That's all I'm going to say.
If we had more time, I would probably get into CPC-based marketing with Kara, who's, of course, coming from a background here with multiple of the wonderful companies that I love from a past life as well, which are like content warehouses is what I call them, right? So maybe, Kara, that's an excuse for you to come back on the show so we can get a little deeper on the CPC side aspect of this and retail media optimization. This, of course, continues to be on the podcast my favorite topic, but a reminder to our audience that all of our content can be found simply by going to a browser, typing cpgguys.com, that easy. And of course, we have an amazing partnership with the organization now called Next Up. And there's something exciting coming soon from them. We'll, of course, continue to have our Easter eggs in every Wednesday's episodes with what's taking place with Next Up, including seminars, webinars, everything that they have to offer. Do sign up. Easy way to do that. newonline.org/CPGguys. Kara, thank you for giving us your time today and taking us through everything, like I mentioned, all the way down to chocolates and bringing home the big W via tailgate. Sincerely, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great fun. I really appreciate it.
For everybody else, a reminder that if you'd like to be on the show and represent your brand or perhaps share your company's vision, all you got to do is drop an email to contact@cpgguys.com. Mr. Bond, a power-packed episode yet again. A pleasure to do this week over week with you.
Love this, Sri. So much fun. Learned a lot today. Had a great time. Kara's so much enjoyment. It was just a great conversation. I loved it.
Money, 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 money. That's a wrap for this episode. See you soon and talk to you soon on another episode of the CPG Guys.
The content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from CPG Guys LLC or the individual author, hosts, or guests, nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by CPG Guys LLC. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The views expressed by CPG Guys LLC do not represent the views of their employers or the entity they represent. CPG Guys LLC expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, or inability to use this podcast or the information we present in this podcast.